Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another product spotlight. Today, I have Colin Tanner from FP Genetics joining me. Colin, how are you?
Hey, great. Thanks, Tracy, for the invitation to join you today.
I am so excited to talk with you today. You are the East Saskatchewan Territory Manager for FP Genetics, and today we are going to be speaking about oat and pulse varieties. So, welcome. It's great to have you on the show. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about who you are, what you do, and your role at FP Genetics?
Sure, awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, I guess in the seed industry, I've been involved in the seed industry more or less my whole life. I grew up on a seed farm west Regina here, and then after university education, working in the seed industry for the last 20 plus years. In 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to join the team here at FP Genetics, and yeah, currently the East Saskatchewan territory manager. So working with not only our shareholders, seed growers across the area, but also um, trying to reach some of the customers and farmers and information sharing, I guess, as well. So
Excellent.
um, we yeah, I enjoy working in the seed industry with seed growers, bringing those new variety technologies to producers. Um, and then also we do have a farm west Regina here, which I can see some of the varieties firsthand and kind of have a little bit better feel for how they may work for other producers. So
Nice. Sounds like a great role. Okay, so today it's that time of year. Seed selection. We're going to be talking about some seed varieties. And in this product spotlight, we're going to focus on oats and pulses. So, would you like to start with your oat varieties and share a little bit about that with farmers in the audience?
fantastic. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Tracy. Yeah, oats and peas, as we get to later, are the some of the key parts of FP Genetics and our variety portfolio. Our since its beginning, FP has been, I would say, the leader in the prairies for oats. Our team works with all of the breeding institutions that are involved in oat breeding, and there's been a tremendous amount of varieties in the last 10 to 12 years that have come into the market, both from the Crop Development Center in Saskatoon and through Ag Canada. Um, the current two varieties in our camp that would be our leading varieties are from the Aaron Beatty's program at the Crop Development Center. Aaron's been breeding up there for in barley and then also in oats as well for the last number of years. These two varieties are CDC Arborg and CDC Anson. So CDC Arborg, it's a higher beta glucan variety. It has good oat growth percentage, good plumpness, really strong yield potential, and one of the key characteristics I would say would be really strong lodging resistance. So, as far as crown rust, Arborg is similar to to the Czechs out there, which are Camden, and the the high yield is across all the zones. So we have the brown, dark brown, and black soil zones, and Arborg is a high yielding variety in all of those zones. Really good resistance to lodging. As I mentioned, over my the last 4 or 5 years here, I've been hearing from many people that Arborg is kind of like the tree of oats. It really strong standing variety, a little bit taller, but it has really great straw strength and early maturity, similar to Dancer. The high the beta glucan contact, sorry, would be similar to a Leggett and higher than Camden. I mentioned beta glucan there, Tracy, and I would like to just expand on that attribute for a second to explain that to the viewers. So beta glucan is a soluble dietary fiber that's found in the cell walls of plants. Beta glucans and it's found in oats, also barley, rye, other wheats as well. And the key thing with this is It's associated with a number of potential health benefits, and this might be or is one of the reasons where the oat market has been growing in the last decade or so. Some of those potential health benefits, are in relation to cholesterol that lower, total the LDL bad cholesterol. It also can affect and improve blood sugar management in the immune system stimulation as well. So it's kind of a very key part of what oats can bring to our diets and as consumers. So
Cool.
the targeted kind of beta glucan in the marketing end use, I guess for end users, is 5.1%. Some older varieties that producers may know, like Morgan, Camden, Ruffian, were kind of in the lower 4% range. Arborg's at 5.2%, so it's kind of right at what the industry is wanting to have in the oats that they buy for the end use products that they make. And it's kind of interesting too that the beta glucan levels will vary depending on where they're growing in the prairies. Typically, they will be higher in eastern prairies and lower as you move west. So that would be the kind of the synopsis for Arborg. Very good standing, high yielding. With the height that Arborg has, it also lends itself to a great fit for green feed or for silage for some producers looking for feed. It's a great option as well. And with the high yielding, it does produce or have very high total digestible nutrient values. Switching into CDC Anson. So this is our kind of the other part of the our tag team, I guess, into the oat market. So CDC Anson is kind of in its first year of a launch, kind of a small launch, and then in 2025 will be in a big way in all of the prairies. The maturity of Anson is very similar to Arborg. The yield, from what we've seen in all of the soil zones, again, is very similar to Arborg. Plus 2% here, minus 2%, and depending where we're at. So I would say relatively similar to Arborg in yield. The test weight be similar to kind of the Czech, which is Camden, and the standability is very, very strong. The key attribute with Anson, and many people may have seen this last couple of years, is just the height of the variety, or the lack thereof, the shortness of this variety. It is compared to Arborg, it would be 24 centimeters shorter. Compared to some of the Czechs, the Czech like Camden, it'll be 12 centimeters shorter. Really, it's the first oat into the brought into in the marketplace that is a shorter type of plant phenotype that we can see in the fields. Overall, like the last few years, that's one of the key attributes I think oat growers across all the prairies, unless they're looking specifically for a green feed or forage, height and straw management are probably top two things that they're looking for aside from yield. So it is a answer to a huge question out there. We've done a great job, and we've got close to 60 seed growers that are growing CDC Anson. I think looking back in my career, I think kind of the largest first couple of years for a variety entering into Western Canada. So I think the height is really and the yield potential and beta glucan levels are really showing this variety to fit the bill. The beta glucan in Anson is about 6.1. So it is also, not only is it really short and really high yielding, but it has a really high beta glucan level. So this will be attractive to producers for some reasons, and attractive to end users for quality uses as well. And I guess the other point I'd make just in regards to height, the unofficial kind of cautioning of for most end users as far as using growth inhibitors to reduce plant height on some varieties. CDC maybe answer that question just inherently with its plant height and not needing to look at any other chemical treatments that may limit where they can sell that production. Yeah, so I would say yeah, really exciting. Our main launch in 2025, and yeah, that's our kind of lead two oaks, CDC Arborg and CDC Anson.
I love it. Isn't it amazing the developments they make in varieties over the years? And you would have seen it, right? If this has been your career.
I,
Wow.
I I think that's probably the reason why I've been doing this for 20 some years is just that constant increase and improvement every year, right? So
Neat. Okay, so that covers the two oat varieties that you want to discuss. I think there are two pulses that you want to cover. Do you want to share on that right now?
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so let's jump into the pulses. So at FP, we are involved in I believe all of the pulsed crop kinds in varying degrees, in whether it's chickpeas or lentils, faba beans, dry beans, lupins, and yellow peas. The yellow peas is the program for the crop kind that we are the most established in as of today. And the other crop kinds we've been testing over the last 3 years, and we'll be bringing to market some of those in the near future. Um, I guess probably out there, most people would recognize the name of the first variety we have, AC Chrome. Um, it's been, I would say, the standard in the industry for 5 years or so, depending on where in the prairies. Really consistent yielding, whether it's been in high moisture situations or in kind of even severe or moderate drought. And just the height and the standability of chromes have really allowed it to perform well in a lot of different areas. As chromes kind of phase out of production in some areas, I should mention kind of for my whole career, seed coat breakage in peas is the number one issues for the seed growers that I've worked with over the years. If too much seed coat breakage happens in the seed lot, that seed lot can no longer be used to seed and has to be demoted and sold in the commercial market. And there's definitely some revenue loss there. In some years, more than 50% of the pea lots that I've been involved in have had to been sold commercially just because it didn't have good seed coat integrity. So a lot of costs there because of that. It's also the number one issue with commercial farmers. The seed coat breakage. It's maybe not germ related, but it is also it at the end of the day, it's higher split levels when delivering the peas commercially. So and you don't get paid nearly the same for a split pea as you do as a intact pea.
Okay.
So that's kind of, I would say, one of the biggest issues in yellow peas that has kind of wreaked havoc over the last decade. And I would say right now, this year, we're able to provide a solution to this SECO problem. AAC Julius is our new entry into the yellow pea market, and we've found that it's the strongest seed coat in our varieties, and also equal to some other ones in the rest of the industry. So the seed size with Julius is 7 or 8% smaller than, say, with a chrome type variety. So the 1,000 kernel weight would be about 210 grams. So not only, with that inherently smaller seed, you get great seed coat integrity, but it's also 7-8% cheaper to plant, just because you need less seed going into the ground. So, a little bit of a couple points to consider there. So the seed coat breakage would be maybe the leading advantage for this variety, but the yields have also been highest in a lot of testing areas across the province too. So we are quite excited for this variety. Um, and I guess just kind of to sum up both of those, I would say 2025. We had talked about before with advancements every year with varieties. I think in 2025 with the advancement in seed coat integrity with Julius peas, and then also with I guess the height reduction with Anson oats. Back to that, this is probably one of the bigger gains of varieties that I've seen in a number of years. So really excited about that.
Right on. That's exciting. Sounds like a lot of new and innovative stuff on the go. So I want to chat with you. Selecting seed varieties is important. So we always want to work with somebody, and I say this to our audience all the time. Our reps, our business managers, they're all there to support us, our territory managers. So I want to talk a little bit about the resources and expertise that you guys have to help farmers make the right decision in their seed choices and support when it comes to the agronomy standpoint. Do you want to touch on that? That's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, I can briefly kind of illustrate kind of what we do to try and bring that information to producers, right? I mean, that's a huge part of our role is just information sharing, if nothing else, right? Not only of our varieties, but just in comparison to varieties, growing in the industry. I would say the key thing that we can offer to industry and to producers that we see these varieties that come to market, at least 3 years ahead of that. So we're working with varieties that are seeing varieties in plots and end use testing data 2 to 3, 4 years before we bring them to market, which gives us a really good baseline of how we expect those products to do, and how those varieties to perform, and where they may be best suited for and whatnot. I would say the biggest tool that we have or that I use is to understanding what the a current variety that the producer is using, and then being able to understand how that is performing in their area, and then being able to you know to show how a new or different variety would work in comparison to that. That seems to be most people able to relate to that versus this seeing a chart with numbers doesn't maybe really tell the whole story sometimes, but being able to understand how they had or the experience they had with variety X, and then to kind of describe variety Y and the differences between them is a great way to connect with the producers. Yeah, so we have all these variety selection tools. We have best management tools. We have connections with the end users that we're working on those relationships to understand what the end users are looking for, so we can kind of help direct that. And Yeah, I think that's probably one of the key points is the agronomy and is key to growing a successful crop, but relaying that end use information or any potential end use marketing issues that producers should be aware of is something that we can help get make people aware of. So
Yeah. I love that because looking, like you said, looking at the guide, there's so much there, right? It's even sometimes just having that conversation with you guys and saying, hey, this is what you said. This is what I grow. This is what I'm hoping for. And then having that conversation with the territory manager, right?
mhm.
I
Yeah,
think, yeah,
absolutely right. I mean, I would say that's the fun part of the job. The challenging but fun part of the job is to help producers, keep moving ahead. So
I love it. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing more about those oat pulse varieties. I really appreciate it. I think that's very informative, timely for the time of year that farmers are going to be watching this or listening. If farmers are interested in learning more or purchasing these varieties, how can they do so?
Yeah, no, best, I guess maybe most things are done online. So our website is probably the best way to see all of our connections at fpgenetics.ca. Um, my phone number is 1-306-537-6040. Happy to take any calls or texts regarding seed on that. But yeah, all of the links and all of the industry resources that we have, the website would be the first place that I would send people to. So
Excellent. Thank you so much, Colin, for sharing your time and your wisdom, all that great information. Seed selection is important, as we know, right? So thank you for your time.
no, thanks, Tracy. Yeah, once the seed's in the ground, that's the last. We can't change that going forward. So it's a very crucial part of the season.
I love
Thank
it.
you very much.
You're very welcome. You in the audience, if you enjoyed this as much as I did, like it, share it, and get it out there. And also check out our website if you are looking for contact information to connect directly with FP Genetics. Colin, thank you. You guys in the audience, thank you. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.